Hi, welcoming you again to the weekly current affairs session by IQCivils. For this particular week, we have four topics to deal with. The very first topic, as you can rightly see on your screens, it's called the Unified Pension Scheme approved by the Union Cabinet Ministry. And apparently, this is something which was much due, and for that matter, and this was very much in news for all its due reasons for the various kinds of elections that we can see. Apparently, it's differences with whatever was there in NPS or the OPS, the new pension scheme, the old pension scheme, and what new particulars have been instilled herein. For that matter, this becomes very interesting. Therefore, we shall be taking care of UPS as the very first topic for this particular session. The second very topic which we'll be dealing today here is that the cabinet clears Vigyan Dhara and Biotech Initiative. So apparently the Science and Technology Ministry have come across two new initiatives. One is called the Vigyan Dhara and the other is called the Biotech Initiative. Apparently that particular policy is known as Bio E3 policy. So we shall be taking care of this particular initiative also. The very third topic which we shall be taking care of today is about the frequent mass wasting events in Tibet and why such events are a cause for worry in India, right? So we shall also be taking care of this. The very last one we shall be taking care of the Mongolian copper, and for that matter the copper production situation in India, right? So these are the four important topics which we shall be dealing with today. The very first one, as you can see, the very important parts which have been highlighted already on your screens. We can read this. The Union Cabinet on Saturday approved a new unified pension scheme for the central government employees. Apparently, the features of it, as suggested here, is a 50% of their average basic pay drawn over the last 12 months prior to their retirement as pension. For that matter, the second important part of this particular article says to ensure the government has decided to raise its contribution to the pension scheme to 18.5% of the basic salary of the employee from 14%, which is at presently been given, right? Apparently, the other important part is the employee's contribution will, however, remain unchanged at 10% as it is now. So this particular scheme is to be applicable from the 1st of April 2025 and will be applicable to all those government employees who have completed 25 years of services in the government. Apparently, the next feature suggests that pension equal to 60% of an employee's pension income after death, and the minimum of 10,000 rupees for those who don't meet the required number of service years. Apparently, this is about the UPS scheme which has recently come down to us. To summarize, the very first idea of it says that the employees will be guaranteed 50% of whatever they were drawing as average of their basic pay for the 12 months just immediately before their superannuation, right? The second particular feature of it says that 60% of this 50% would be given as your family pension in case the pensioner meets his death event. Apparently, the third important part says the government is going to contribute 18.5% of the employee's basic pay, and on return the employee is going to pay 10%, right? Apparently, this particular number is subject to periodic actual assessments to ensure that the scheme sustainability is met. So therefore the government can try and either increase it or can decrease it. This will entirely depend on the situation. Apparently, the fourth one says that there would be a periodic dearness relief hike which would be very much in line with the inflation trends. We have already seen that the 25 years of services, that is a criteria that needs to be met. Apparently, that 10,000 rupees per month will also be given, which will be the minimum one. Presently, I think it was at around 9,000. So this was increased by another 1,000 apparently, right? The very interesting feature of this particular thing is all those current government officers who are adjusted under the new pension scheme, they can definitely switch on to the new scheme, which is called the unified pension scheme. So apparently what all the goods of OPS and all the goods of NPS, both of them together make this particular new scheme, which is called the UPS for the central government employees. And apparently this would be very much on the discretion of the state, whichever they want to go for. They either can go for NPS, they either can go for OPS, or they either can go for UPS. This will be entirely on the discretion and the fiscal situation of the many states that we have in India, right? Apparently there's another important aspect of it. It is called the TV Somanathan situation. Or for that matter, this was a committee which was headed by an IAS officer called TV Somanathan. Apparently that particular committee gave us a recommendation, gave us a report which did culminate into the UPS, right? So we definitely therefore know that the committee which is related is the TV Somanathan committee, which can therefore become also a part of your UPSC prelims questionnaire. Okay. Apparently what is necessary to also learn with this particular article is the nuances of NPS and OPS. So what are the positives of NPS, what are the negatives of NPS, what are the positives of OPS, and what are the negatives of NPS, and how UPS kind of try and deal with the negativities of these two old pension schemes right now. Apparently this entirely would make your knowledge on the matters of pension very solid. So for the very first topic for this particular session, this was I believe this should be enough, right? Moving on to the very second topic for the day. Apparently the government has brought about a new central sector scheme which would be unifying 3 umbrella schemes of the Department of Science and Technology. Okay, apparently for the proposed outlay of the implementation of this particular scheme, which is called Vigyan Dhara, some 10,500, approximately some 10,500 crore rupees have been proposed for the 15th Finance Commission period, that is your 2021, 22 to 2025 and 2026. Right, so this is the period of the 15th Finance Commission. There are certain components for that matter. There would be focus interventions which would be taking place for the participation of women in the field of science and technology. There are also schemes which would endeavor to promote research in areas such as basic research with access to international mega facilities. For that matter, to try and contribute to building a critical human resource pool to strengthen the science and technology landscape of the country is also very much a component of this particular initiative, which is called the Vigyan Dhara. Apparently, let us try and see what the article has to offer. It so says that the center recently approved 2 key science initiatives to strengthen the research base and accelerate search for science and technology solutions to some of the country's pressing needs in sectors like clean energy. Okay, apparently the second important part of it says the Union Cabinet decided to merge several existing science schemes, promotion schemes or programs being run by the DST under a new initiative called the Vigyan Dhara. This would result in better fund utilization, improve efficiency and improve efficiency. So therefore we understand that how is Vigyan Dhara going to help us in the process if we are trying to replace it by or kind of trying and joining 3 existing programs and making it to a suitable one, which is called the Vigyan Dhara. Apparently with this particular thing, a new biotechnology initiative was also taken care of, which we will be studying after a minute or two. Let us see what Vigyan Dhara has to offer again. Vigyan Dhara merges several existing DST schemes, including the Inspire program that works to attract young talent to science and research. There's 3 broad components: the human and institutional capacity building, which we just discussed, research and development, innovation and technology development, and also deployment, right? So all of these particulars would be the components of what Vigyan Dhara, which we just also reiterated at the very initial discussion of this particular topic. Apparently there are 2 big benefits of Vigyan Dhara. So DST gets the flexibility to reorient schemes within the broad framework of the achieving of achieving the 3 objectives. And the second important thing which Vigyan Dhara has the benefit to offer, it says that the second thing is the ANRF, that is your Anusandhan National Research Foundation. This is creating its own program. So the idea is to avoid duplication of work, and therefore to also try and improve the efficiency of the products, or for that matter all the schemes which are taking place herein, right? The next important discussion that is to be taken place herein is about the Bio E3 policy. Before moving on to this particular aspect of the policy, let us see what this part of the article has to offer. It says that why stress on biotechnology. It gives us certain data which says, or for that matter, these can be further materials for your answers, valued at around $137 billion in 2023. The biotechnology sector in India is predicted to grow to $150 billion by 2025, then double to $300 billion by 2030, recording nearly 17% year-on-year growth. Considered to be a sunrise sector, the field of biotechnology is expected to see number of startups go up from 6,000 in 2023 to over 10,000 in 2025. So this is the very reason why we should be trying and stressing much more into the biotechnology components, right? Apparently this new policy which is called the Bio E3 policy, which is to be steered by, again, the Department of Biotechnology, and the policy is for fostering high performance manufacturing, right? So this particular new policy would be accelerating technology development and commercialization by establishing biomanufacturing and bio AI hubs and bio foundry. Fine. Apparently the article which have things to offer, it so reads that on the biotechnology side, the new initiative aims to support innovation driven research and development across 6 thematic areas, right? So the first will focus, the first one, okay, making it easier for you, this is the first one. It will focus on biochemicals, bioenzymes, biopolymers. The second part of it will focus on the smart proteins and functional foods. Why? Because there is a huge stress on the food production, on the land-based food production, definitely. So thereby trying and biofortifying, or for that matter focusing on smart proteins and functional foods, we can reduce the pressure on land resources, right? Apparently the third scheme or thematic area of this is the biotherapeutics. The fourth part is focus on agriculture, supporting development of biofertilizers and biopesticides. The fifth part will take care of your developing biofuels and biochemicals. And the sixth one, which is for that matter not included herein, is the marine research and space research, right? So this is particularly all about the Bio E3 policy, and therefore this is how the Vigyan Dhara and Bio E3 policy is going to cater to the demands of the current economy of India. Fine. Going on to the third major topic for today's discussion, it talks about the frequent mass wasting in Tibet, which is a cause for worry in India. Apparently, what is a mass wasting thing? This is apparently This is apparently a situation where under the effect of gravity, rocks and land debris are going to move downwards, apparently creating a situation of creek, for that matter a slump, landslides, avalanches, and everything otherwise. Okay. Moving on to the important parts of this particular article, it so reads that high frequency mass wasting events in the Sedongpu Gully of the Tibetan plateau since 2017 and the rapid warming of the area, which rarely experienced temperatures beyond 0 degrees Celsius before 2012, could be bad signs for India, especially the country's northeast. Fine. It so also reads about that the geological event, which is called mass wasting, is the gravity influenced movement of rock and soil down a slope And here we also, or for that matter, it's also written here what a gully is. A gully is a landform which is created by erosion from running water, mass movement, or both. Yes, the geography of this area is also written here, and it so reads that this particular gully, the Sedongpo Gully, it drains into the Yalong Sangpo, and apparently we definitely know that the Yalong Sangpo, it enters India as the Siang, which is being joined by Dibang and then Lohit, and to become the Brahmaputra, which flows down through Arunachal and which flows down through Assam, right? Apparently this particular thing is going to affect India. Why? The debris for that matter, from the wasting events has temporarily blocked the Sangpo River and its tributaries, which is going to lead concerns and for that matter create potential flash flood situations. Flash flood situations in where? In the Arunachal Pradesh and particularly in Assam, right? Apparently we know that the river Yalong Sangpo is one of the world's most sediment laden rivers in the world. So the sedimentation here can elevate the riverbeds, which would be leading to flood hazards, and the channels may also get choked with sand and silt in the lean season, making it navigation difficult, and also can be affecting the livelihoods relating to fishing for that matter. Apparently the increased sedimentation may also make the river intensely braided in the Assam plains, leading to more bank erosion and of course the situations of flood. This entire thing becomes much more critical. Why? Because China is planning 60 gigawatt. China is planning a 60 gigawatt a project on the Sangpo, which will be thrice the capacity of China's Three Gorges project on the Yangtze, which is the world's largest hydropower plant. So this particular area being already in the tectonic zone 5 for that matter, again this mass wasting event, and what it has to offer to India, this needs to be taken care of, and therefore the probable solutions to this particular thing should be taken care at the very earliest, right? Apparently the very last topic for this particular session, it talks about the copper production, or for that matter where is India trying to eye for its demands, for the domestic demands that it has to meet, right? For that matter, you can read this particular article. It so reads that two large companies, Adani Enterprises Limited and Aditya Birla Group owned Hindalco Industries Limited, are keen to source raw material from copper-rich Mongolia. Mongolia, but are concerned about the logistics of transporting copper concentrate from the landlocked Central Asian country to India, right? Now there are certain facts which can be very much interesting. The copper concentrates is a key input for refined copper, and India relies on imports for nearly 90% of its supply due to limited domestic mining of this critical mineral, right? India imports its requirements almost entirely from Indonesia, Chile, and Australia, okay? This is something to offer. Mongolia exported copper ore worth $2.7 billion in 2022 and was the world's 10th largest exporter of the commodity. Much of its exports go exclusively to China, right? There are certain interesting parts herein so suggested. At present, there are only two possible options for evacuating shipments out of Mongolia, transporting them by rail to Tianjin, or exploring the possibility of a combined rail and road route to Vladivostok. Okay, it also says here that the distance from the major copper mines in Mongolia to Tianjin is only 1000 km, while the distance to Vladivostok is about 4000 km. Okay. Why for that matter this initiative is important? According to ICRA, demand for copper in India is expected to grow by 11% in 2024 and 2025. Apparently copper is also seen as a barometer of economic activity, right? Not taking into consideration its wonderful uses that it has. It can be used for the production of electrical equipments, wiring, motors. It is also used in EV batteries and wind turbines, consumer electronics, construction, etc., etc., and etc. It has wonderful conductivity for that matter. It is malleable, it is ductile, and for all those reasons, copper becomes a very, very important part of the economy of every other country. For that matter, let us take care of certain facts which can be prelims oriented. For that matter, Chile is the world's top producer of copper, which contributes to around 27% of the global production. Apparently, Chile is followed by South America, a different South American country, which is Peru, and Peru is again responsible for some 10% of the entire global production. Apparently, there are some 700 copper mines which is in operation globally, of which 127 are in India, right? But the problem is India has the low grade copper ore. It has for that matter less than 1% metal content, and the global average is about 2.5%, right? So therefore the quality of it is very, very low, for which it becomes difficult. There are leading states for manufacturing or production of copper in this country are Madhya Pradesh, then we have your Rajasthan, and then we have your Jharkhand. Okay, they are the leading producers of copper. Madhya Pradesh takes care of 53% of copper production, then your Rajasthan takes care of 43%, and Jharkhand takes care of around 4%. There are minor deposits which are also found in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Fine. Apparently, along with this entire scene with Mongolia, some 6-7 months before, the Ministry of Mines also proposed sending an Indian industry delegation to copper-rich Zambia to discuss potential copper exploration and mining projects in the African country. Zambia has about 6% of the world's copper reserves and was the 8th largest producer of copper in 2022. So apparently all of these particulars do suggest that India is definitely lacking in kind of trying and producing, and because we understand that some 90% of it are exported, of 90% of it are imported, so therefore it becomes very much necessary for us to kind of try and diversify our regions from where we can try and import copper. For that matter, this Mongolian initiative, which recently was tried to be exploited, for that matter, Zambia was also on the list. So this becomes very interesting and also necessary for India's economic growth. For that matter, this session of the weekly current affairs had these 4 articles to